we have an awesome topic today, which dovetails with a lot of the headlines we're seeing out there, newspapers and on the television. Can you be safe in Memphis? Can you be safe anywhere?
This is On the Couch with Dr. K, a show focused on answering the questions of urban and hip-hop adults rising to reach personal stars in daily life. Now, here's your host, Dr. K.
All right. Well, good afternoon. Welcome back. You're listening to On the Couch with Dr. K right here on AM 990 Talk Radio. And we have an awesome topic today, which dovetails with a lot of the headlines we're seeing out there, newspapers and on the television. Can you be safe in Memphis? Can you be safe anywhere? That's the question we're asking today. And if you want to get in on our conversation, give us a call at 901-260-5926. But before we go on, I want to say hello to my sponsors, Sharon Brown of Cry Like Realty. She works with you until you have the keys to your house in your hand. I also want to say hello to the Victoria Gillard attorney at law. She works with you and she is a Christian-based attorney, as well as Streeter's Total Beauty and Streeter Psychological Services. So hello to all of my great sponsors. And last but certainly not least, I want to say hello to my two fabulous guests. Give yourselves a hand. Yay! So glad to have you here. And I am going to start ladies first and let you introduce yourself, our award-winning community activist, Wanda Taylor.
Thank you, Dr. Skeeter.
You're so welcome.
Always
We're so glad to have you here.
To be on the air with you. Once again, my name is Wanda Taylor, and I am the founder of Links Incorporated, which I help women that's overcoming substance abuse, domestic violence, and just in need of a safe place to live.
Oh, wow. Okay. Now, that is some really hard work, I'm sure.
Is. Yes, ma'am.
How long have you been doing it?
I will be celebrating 2 years in August.
Excellent. Well,
yes,
good
ma'am.
job. Good job. Thank you so much for being here. And next, last but certainly not least, we have one of our candidates for mayor, Mr.
Ma'am.
Brian Saulsberry.
How you doing? How are you
Hello.
doing?
How are you? How are you? Tell us about yourself, sir.
Well, I'm actually a native Memphian.
Oh, great.
I went to Kirby and graduated in 94 and left there, went to Howard.
Okay.
Up in D.C., studied there, and was fortunate enough to get into Harvard's program thereafter.
Oh, wonderful.
And stayed in the what they call venture capital business and helping companies get off the ground, funding minority companies to get their feet going. And I moved back, and I was in the real estate development business here for about 15 plus years. So,
really?
Yes.
Okay.
I've done some projects such as Getwell Gardens. That's my financing.
Okay, great.
National properties and some other things. So I could go on and on and on.
Well, tell us a little bit about your platform in terms of your bid for mayor.
Well, it is a 10-point platform, which encompasses not only the youth, but giving young adults the skill sets they need in order to redevelop themselves and become actually gainfully employed. But another thing about me is that I'm the type of person that believes in backing your local people and citizens.
Okay.
A lot of other cities and municipalities you go to, there's a concerted effort to put money behind those that live within that particular municipality. And it's just unfortunate that I don't see that type of energy in our city. So I definitely have to do that because people need to be gainfully employed.
Yes.
Having 2 or 3 jobs takes away from what I consider proper family structure.
That is so true.
And we can't expect the children to raise themselves. So let's just get away from that. And put some assurances that when we have companies coming to our area and we're giving tax incentives to those companies,
right?
Let's make sure that we're getting gainfully employed positions for our people.
Wow. I love that. I love everything you said because that goes right in with our topic for today.
Yes.
You know, can you be safe in Memphis? Can you be safe anywhere? Because it seems as if a lot of the crimes we're hearing about are crimes that are based on lack.
Right.
People don't have enough money,
Right.
and so they go out and they're, embezzling from the PTA,
Right.
knocking people over the head and taking their money.
Right.
So it seems like a lot of these crimes are crimes about trying to just get the basic food, clothing,
Right.
and shelter.
Right.
What do you think about that, Ms. Taylor?
I agree. And I was speaking earlier about Memphis can be a safe place for us.
Okay.
If we could just remove some of these barriers, such as what he just mentioned, the structure of the family. Parents have to work 2 and 3 jobs, and our children are left unattended.
Right.
And also, I believe if we can open up more establishments that caters to these youth needs, giving them something to do constructively when they get out of school, that would keep them from becoming affiliated with gangs and keeping them from robbing and motoring and all of different things that we hear about in our city that is ongoing and just happening way too much.
Right.
Okay. So now tell me, I know you have the shelter to help women get back on their feet. So do you think they're affected by this question, can they be safe in Memphis? Because these are people who have directly experienced violence within their lives.
Yes, and there is an issue in that area because I deal with women that is battling the substance abuse piece of it.
Okay.
Their abusers lives here in the city of Memphis as well. And with having a safe haven for them, and when you're transitioning them back out into the community, if we don't shift their thinking and kill the morale of fear, then they will think that they will always have to be subjected to that proud lifestyle that they once lived. And also, I believe if we open up more centers such as mines, not only just for the victims, for the perpetrators as well, they need to know that they're loved. They need to release their anger, their frustration. They need to know that someone cares about them as well.
Right.
And someone proposed a question, do you think they would be willing? If you don't judge them, I believe they really would be willing, because if I want out, 9 times out of 10, they want out of the situation as well.
Oh, really?
So we need to care for the victims as well as the perpetrators as well.
Okay, I can understand that, because sometimes perpetrators have been victims who then go on to perpetrate. It's like a vicious cycle.
It is.
Yeah.
It is.
Yeah. And I see you, Mr. Saulsberry, you're smiling over there. So tell us what's on your mind.
Well, first of all, I'm definitely a proponent for the victim.
Okay.
Listen, women and men are individuals.
Yes.
And we all have met people that said, listen, I think it's a better choice to go XYZ over here or move on. Let them go. It is okay.
Right.
Life does go on. So for me, I'm just a proponent from the standpoint, do not commit bodily harm against anyone.
Right.
And keep your hands to yourself. And it just stops
Basic
right there.
Stuff that you learned in kindergarten.
Exactly. It stops
keep
there.
your hands and feet and everything else to
keep your
yourself.
hands to yourself.
Exactly.
And just like I have a daughter.
Uh-huh.
And I'm not saying everything in my daughter's life will be appropriate.
Right.
But I think as a man, I'm going to have a I will have a conversation that if you find her inappropriate, just know Dad will take her back.
Okay.
And you don't have to touch her. So,
Yeah.
and that needs to be understood.
Wow.
So, because,
Okay.
as an adult, she doesn't need to be spanked.
Right. Wow. Hey, well, now there are some adults who like that, but
That's true.
on a Sunday, we're going to say no. We're not talking about anything like that.
That's
but
true.
You're right.
Right.
As an adult, you've already been raised.
Exactly.
And so you don't need someone who is trying to raise a grown woman to be a certain way.
You
Hey,
know-
Michelle said it so bluntly. How can you raise a man if his mama couldn't do it?
Right.
Oh,
well,
ooh,
and you know what? I can even go further than that. Dr. Maya Angelou said, once a person says it, believe it. You know,
Yes.
so we have to be cognizant
Yes.
of what people say and say, hey, that's how that person truly feels.
Right, and accept whatever
accept
it is
it.
they have to say.
That's right.
You know, on Facebook, I put the question out on Facebook, and I actually got some really great responses. Adam says, there's no safe place to live in a world full of violence and sin. Let's look or think back 30 to 40 years ago, where were we more safer as a nation, as a people, as a community then? If so, what was different then versus now? What principles can we work at applying today from yesterday? The strength of family, which is what you were saying, and community has been lost over the years. We've granted a lot of technology. We've gained a lot technology wise, but we've lost a lot morally and socially. So that was very well said, Adam. Thank you so much. You know, that it sounds like economically that is where it starts.
Right.
You don't make enough money, and because you don't make enough money, now you have to work 2 and 3 jobs.
Right.
So now your kids are either raising themselves
Right.
or acting out. You know, I'm a licensed school psychologist.
Right.
And I go and I'm dealing with preschoolers.
Right.
And we see some very behaviorally disturbed children because their parents do not have time
Right.
to give them the hugs,
Right.
to watch them. And so then they come to school and they're like, ah!
Right.
You know, just like losing it. And so, you know, I think when you're talking about can we be safe, well, we have to get a really good economic base here. That's what it sounds like you're saying.
And it's no doubt about that too, Dr. K. But you know, one thing that we need to just have some. This is what I say: be decent with our indecencies. And what I mean by that is this: we shouldn't say every and anything around our children. I have 3 children.
Okay.
And they are a gift from God. Treat your children as a gift.
Wow.
And when you treat your children as a gift, then at the end of the day, they'll have that seed in them and they'll treat their children as gift.
Right.
You know, I know all of us have seen in grocery stores, out in public, where you see a mother or a father speak to their children in such a way that it's just degrading.
Yes. And abusive.
And abuse, and that is abuse.
It really is.
That's parental abuse.
Yes, it really is.
So, you know, for the men and women that may be committing acts of violence against their wife or a husband, we got to go back into the psychology and say, well, listen, when did all this begin?
Right.
Did this start at 3? Did you hear this? Or, you know, what's that? And once we clear that up, I think we can begin to build upon a better community for everyone.
Right. So we have to have a healing.
Exactly.
That's what it sounds like. You have to kind of heal people emotionally and build people financially so that we all can come together and live
institute some
peacefully.
programs whereby people can understand what proper parenting is about. You know, because think about it. My father grew up in the 70s.
Okay.
Those 70s kids were into all kinds of things. So perhaps some of the things that his mom and dad taught him, it didn't get to me.
Right,
so
exactly.
We gotta go back
it was lost in the haze of marijuana, maybe.
Exactly. Some of that
that's the show from last week. Okay. Okay, yes.
But you know, just simple things that I think all of us can gain from.
Right.
It's okay for someone to say, hey, listen, I didn't have that type of parent.
Right.
For instance, when I was in 11th grade, I took trigonometry, and I got a D in the middle of my semester in trigonometry. 11th grade. Now, I went and told my father. The next day, my father was in the back of the class. Now, this is 11th grade.
Right.
Now, do we get parents in the 3rd or 4th grade going to see about their children now?
Sometimes they won't do it even in pre-K.
Wow.
Because they're just overwhelmed.
Wow.
I wanted to know about how both of you decided to become involved in the community, number 1, to run for mayor, and number 2, to start your center. So, Wanda, why don't you tell us what made you decide to start your center?
All right. I would like to piggyback off what Mr. Saulsberry said about parents is not being proactive in the lives of their children. I grew up in an environment to whereas my parents struggle with substance abuse issues.
Okay.
So therefore, I didn't have that foundation, the mores and the values that I needed as a child. So for that reason, it caused me to go astray. And when you grow up in the projects, in the hood, I was raised around pimps, prostitutes, and the whole 9 yards, and you become affiliated with your familiar. And because of that reason, I began to act out. I began to stray. I began to cut up in school. I was a teen dropout. I was a teen mother. High school dropout. I was a teen mother. I found myself indulging in drugs, being sexual active at a very young age. I remember being introduced to cocaine when I was 11 years old. It's just so many things that goes wrong in your world when you don't have that proper supervision and someone to say, hey, I love you, you mama's baby. You can be whatever you want to be in life. And for that reason, I struggled tremendously. I fought like hell to just survive just in the natural, in my community, in the school system, because I was different from other people. So because of that reason, I understand these women. I was a victim of domestic violence. I was a victim of substance abuse. I was a victim of being a statistic of the system, in and out of the system because of unethical choices that I once made in life. And then, of course, dropping out of school, going back at 28 to get my high school diploma. And then the main thing was when I found Christ, I was told that I can live a life beyond my own mind and expectation. And so when I caught a hold to that vision and God allowed me to be a forerunner to make a change in my life, then he said, hey, I did a great work with you. Take what I have given you and make a change in your community. So that's what I have been doing since my organization been open. I'm transforming lives. I'm changing the mind of these women, letting them know that they no longer have to be subjected to their abuser. They no longer have to be subjected to drugs and alcohol, that they no longer have to live beneath their issues, that they can rise above it. So that's my mission. That's my heart, my passion, because I understand the fear. I understand the pain. I've been there with the substance abuse piece, trying to suppress your depression. Trying to stay above waters when everyone around you is talking about you, degrading you, just putting you down because you seem like you can't get it together. But the devil is a liar. Because you can't get it together. All you need is somebody that's willing to love you, support you, mentor you, encourage you, drive you. You will ultimately land on purpose. And that's what Links Incorporation does for the women that we serve.
Well, that is fantastic.
It is.
And let me, first of all, just tell you how just proud I am of you and just awed by you and your story, because it takes a lot to answer a call. A lot of us are called to do a lot of different things, and some people are like, I'm not doing it, because I know it takes a lot of time and energy and courage to step out there. So thank you for doing that, because obviously you're making a huge change. People are recognizing it, and you're changing the lives of women every day.
And if I may add, when I received my high school diploma when I was 28 years old, I think something went off in the inside of me. We're talking about a person such as myself, couldn't even read or write, couldn't even analyze a sentence, were considered being illiterate. After I got my high school diploma, and I was told that with God, all things are possible.
You better know.
And it's like, oh my God, if I did this, how much more can I do with him? Or if I have the tenacity and the boldness to keep moving forward. So, doctor, I said, okay, let me try this. So I went and got my hair license. I went and got my AS in social work. I went and got my certification in substance abuse counseling. I said, since I'm a smart chick now, how about I go and get my BS? And so I have that in business management.
Excellent.
So we're talking about a person could even read and write.
Right.
And the thing about it is somebody believed in me.
Right.
So my job is to believe in them. If I did it, you can do it. And I would put you out of links if you say I can't do it.
Right.
I can't cannot be in your vocab.
It sounds like what you're having to do is almost instill in them a self-esteem.
Yes.
So that they can have enough to go out there and get what it takes to put them in another direction.
And that's what the ladies are doing. Majority of them that comes in, they don't have a high school diploma. I have a young lady that's getting ready to graduate this December. She'll be 29 years old.
Wow.
I had one that just graduated last December. I had 4 women at one time. All of them, because they was in my program, they was enrolled in college. So I'm making a huge impact in these women's lives because they say they can't. Every morning I tell them you can.
Right.
I alleviate all the excuses.
Good. So it sounds like one way that you can at least feel safe in Memphis is you have to be like in a community and kind of answer the call of your community and be aware, which leads us to you, Mr. Saulsberry.
But you know, first, before I jump into me, I got to snag me a hug from her.
Okay.
Because I'm going to tell you why.
Yeah.
As men, it's our duty to protect our women. You know, and when I see and hear of a male that will take advantage of a female, if you want to fight somebody that can fight back. If you really want to get physical like that, I'm a military guy. I'm in the Air Force, and for people that just want to let some aggression out, hey, we got boxers. We got a whole lot of areas where you can let some of that steam out outside of someone that you should be loving and taking care of. And I think about, just go back to my daughter. You know what I'm saying? It's no way under any circumstances that you should put your hands on the very one that God has given you. It doesn't even have to be from a romantic standpoint. It's from a humanity standpoint.
Exactly.
You with me on that?
Yes, very much so.
And
I mean, they've even now, they're trying to even make abuse to animals a felony.
Exactly.
So it's just, hitting or abusing another living thing.
Exactly. Exactly. So it's heartbreaking, but that's one of the reasons why I said it's incumbent upon me to bring all of the skills that God has blessed me with to my home.
Right.
And to give men and women, number one, an opportunity to have a basis, to know that there's a better way to go about life. For instance, if you go to other cities, Washington, D.C., even Atlanta, the moment you step down in that city, the feel of the city is different.
Yes.
And there's no reason that we shouldn't have the same feeling of success and progressiveness in the city of Memphis. Because think about it. Memphis is so unique. There's no other city that has the level of civil rights, music history from Isaac Hayes, Elvis Presley, Aretha Franklin, which I am glad to say my father used to be the organist for the church on 4th Street.
Wow.
And a little history there. But that Aretha Franklin's father pastored before going to Detroit. Okay. So,
So we have origins of a lot of great people here.
We got origins that people just from, Sun Studios, it's amazing. So we have to continue to capitalize off of that and make visitors feel safe when they come to our city. Right. And we got to get MLG&W to get off their rear ends and put some money into the infrastructure of city of Memphis, because they do charge a great deal.
Yes.
Can I get an amen on that?
Oh, yes. I mean, a lot of people would agree with you.
So there are some things, the question was asked, why am I running? From the best thing that I could say, I feel like I'm the best candidate as it relates to getting this economy in Memphis off of the ground again.
Wow.
I absolutely unequivocally believe that. I believe that with my leadership, not to say there's anything wrong with the other leaders. Okay. But there's a certain skill set that I've been given, thank God, that I know I can get this city back solvent, that I know from a financial management standpoint we need to look at. For instance, the city of Memphis owns a great deal of real estate. Now think about this. we've been talking about the Mid-South Coliseum so long that the building is almost fallen in.
Yeah.
So why is it that if the city of Memphis didn't want to invest its dollars, why didn't it turn it over to a private organization so that it could be put on the tax roll and we can get something back? We have a lot of schools that we've closed down. It's incumbent upon us to rezone those areas and then sell to developers that got the money and bring resources back in. This could have shored up the shortfall on the retirement benefits that the police are facing.
Right.
And that's another thing that we need to look at. As well as it could have given us the additional dollars to expand community hours for certain centers around the city. And there are some key areas that, though we're a very talented city, we are not maximizing every resource we have.
Yeah.
So, and that's the concern.
But some of that to me, and I could be wrong, sounds like corruption.
Yes.
And that's the reason why some of these things aren't happening. But let me get to, somebody just sent me a message here on Facebook to answer our question. Can you be safe in Memphis? Can you be safe anywhere? And Nicholas says, yes, if you know where and when Memphis, Tennessee is a safe place. The TV media doesn't help with the 100% negative reporting. And I do agree on that. Thank you, Nicholas, that, there's a lot of bad press out there about Memphis, and people don't talk about how we are centrally located and how we have a great cost of living, and how we are a large city with a small town feel to it. People don't really, talk about that. They harp on the bad things. But let me get to our stats and facts, because these stats and facts were found by my super intelligent intern, Stanley Shotwell II. Thank you, Stanley. He did a great job. And, he really, really did a great job, because I didn't even ask him until like this morning. So he did an excellent job. I really appreciate that. So in our stats and facts, we're looking at crime in the United States. And this is according to the FBI's 2013 Uniform Crime Report. An estimated 1,163,146 violent crimes, I'm sure I said that number wrong, occurred nationwide. And I practiced it too. And that is a decrease of 4.4 from the 2012 estimate. Wow. There were an estimated 367.9 violent crimes per 100,000 inhabitants in 2013, but that rate actually declined 5.1% when compared with the 2012 estimated rate. So now that's nationwide. So if we go ahead and look at in Memphis, which is where I wanted us to focus, the Tennessee Bureau of Investigation. Now, according to the TBI, we have a total of 542,184 Group A offenses. And Group A involves crimes against persons, property, and society. And those numbers were reported in 2013, and that's actually down 5.4% from 2012. And I wanted to look at exactly what these crimes are. So, of course, our highest crime is simple assault. We had 86,000 of those. We had about 28,000 aggravated assaults. But get this, we also had an equal number of intimidation. And so people here are beating each other up, intimidating each other. Then the next one was the next highest, and probably nobody will believe this, was forcible fondling. I didn't even know that was a thing. Yeah, forcible fondling. And then after that comes forcible rape. And so those are kind of like the big ones here. But The sexual things, the forcible fondling, about 2,000, and the forcible rape is a little over 1,700. So, that's letting us know that we have a lot of issues going on here. But as we are looking at this, it is saying, even in Tennessee, that crime is down actually from 2012, but yet it feels like crime is up. When we come back, we're going to look at, can you be safe in Memphis? Can you be safe anywhere? And talk about why it seems like crime is up when statistics actually say crime is down. You're listening to On the Couch with Dr. K right here on AM 990. If you want to get more information on these stats and facts, please go to our website at onthecouchwithdrk.com and like us on Facebook. We'll be right back after these messages.
Down a road that we call eternity, where the knowledge is formed and you learn to be self-sufficient, independent. To teach to each is what rap intended, but society wants to invade. So do not walk this path that they lay. It's self-destruction.
For legal experience with a Christian touch, call the law offices of Attorney Victoria Gillard. We stop foreclosures and repossessions. Other areas of our practice include personal injury, civil and criminal matters, divorce, child support, child custody, and Social Security cases. Call today at 901-624-8852 for a free consultation. Karen Streeter Psychological Consulting is a firm dedicated to helping parents, schools, churches, and organizations assess and treat learning, emotional, and behavior difficulties in children. We offer services such as IQ testing, academic testing, behavior analysis, behavioral planning, preventive counseling, parent training, staff development, professional development, crisis management, and risk assessments, and so much more. To enrich the lives of your children, call Karen Streeter Psychological Consulting at 901-650-2569 or email me at kstreeter5@aol.com. Are you considering buying or selling a home and don't know where to start? Call Sharon Brown of Crylike Realtors at 901-355-7271. To learn more about the services offered by Sharon Brown, visit her on the web at www.sharonbrown.cry-like.com or like her on Facebook today. Her success comes when your home is sold or you have the keys to your new home. Call Sharon Brown of Crylike Realtors at 901-355-7271 for all your real estate needs today. Streeter's Total Beauty is a hair salon that invites you to enjoy a lifestyle full of beauty today. Dial 901-649-0559. Look to Randa Patton Streeter's lifestyle blog, which also invites you to enjoy a lifestyle full of high fashion and glamour. Like her on Facebook today. Okay, you're back. You're listening to On the Couch with Dr. K. See, we were dancing to that music, and you cut it out too quickly. We were talking. You remember this song, "Self-Destruction," Headed for Self-Destruction. Yes. Actually, my sister, who does In the Ring with Randa, we were out yesterday. We're trying to exercise. Anyway, I said, tell me, what's a good rap song about crime? And she came up with it just like that. So she gets credit for the song for today. But, we were listening to the stats and facts. Mm-hmm. And, it says that crime is actually down since 2012. But it feels like it's increasing. Why do you think that is, Wanda Taylor?
Well, that's a good question.
Mm-hmm.
Is everything being reported?
There we go. Yeah, you're right. Maybe the reporting system is better. Yeah, that's what I thought about too. So yes. I like what you're saying. Is everything being reported? You're right, because one thing I was looking at the types of crimes.
Right.
It said that like two cases of incest were reported. Well, we know
Yes,
that
Lord.
couldn't possibly
Be true.
have been true.
Right.
And then they said, like, you also have a
Right.
category there about forcible servitude, which I guess that's putting people in slavery or
Right.
whatever.
Yes.
And that was 0. And at first I'm like, well, good. At least nobody's having to go back to slavery. But I do feel like there probably are some people who are being enslaved in some sort of way, whether it's a sex slave or just a slave, because there are all different ways to experience crime. And
Can I give you an
Yes,
example?
please.
You remember, I think it was maybe about a month or so ago when they found all of those rape kits.
Right.
Yes.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So
when they found
that's
all
like,
those
what,
rape
hundreds.
kits. Yes.
Certainly unacceptable for
Right.
the number of untested rape kits that were present. This is just egregious.
Yes.
Though that kind of oversight is your job should be lost.
Yeah.
But let me jump in on one thing. Kristen Williams, the young girl that was killed, 7 years old, by the stray bullet. I think it must have been like a week or so ago.
Yes.
I think the issue is that though crime may be down from the results of a crime being reported, that those kinds of crimes still are very, very tough for a community to deal with.
Yes.
So, and another thing is, like she said, some of these crimes just don't get reported, and by the time you get through the hassle of being interviewed, and sometimes the interviewers can be very, very scrutinize you to the point where you feel like you're the one that can.
Exactly. Yeah.
So you have that host of experiences whereby someone may say, "I'm not even
Forget
interested.
it. I'm
It's
just
too
gonna
much."
Tell my cousin them to go down there and get 'em.
Exactly. So to deal with
get some vigilantism going on. That's all right.
and even with the
I'm not
case
suggesting
where the man was at the BP station and
Uh-huh.
a group of kids jumped on him. I know you all probably familiar with that.
Right.
The judge basically giving them a low bond. Citizens of Memphis are just outraged at that. And that's what I'm saying. As Director Armstrong said, it really is going to take a collective all across board. He like he says, I keep seeing the same people go in and
Right.
out through the doors, in and out. So until we get proactive and honestly looking at the judges and saying, listen, you're just not going to get my vote because
Right.
you got the right last name.
Exactly.
I'm going to be scrutinizing, and that's the type of proactive attitude we got to have top down, even as it relates to me.
Right. Exactly.
I encourage people, before you even cast a vote, you learn about me.
Yes.
And I encourage you to learn about others and learn a little bit about their history too before
Right.
you get sold on, well, they gave me X.
Yes.
You got to be
exactly.
careful there.
Right. Right. Did we have a call? Okay. Let's take the call. Who is it? Okay.
Hey, Dr. K, how are you?
Fine. How are you, Mr. Rick? Is this Norman?
Yes.
Yes. Good. Good. Thank you so much for calling in. Do you have a question or a comment?
Well, I have a comment.
Okay.
I'm sorry I missed most of the show. I've been at church. I apologize.
Oh, but thank you for calling in.
Yeah, and I will certainly keep tuning in. I think you have a great topic. I heard you call in this morning on Brother Love's show. And I know that Mr. Williams is supposed to call in today. I don't know if he did or not.
He did. He called into his, but he hasn't called in on this one.
Yes, and I just, I don't know if you heard my comment this morning.
I did.
Okay, and I wanted to say, I thought maybe he'd call up, that I didn't mean nothing personal or anything harmful. I just didn't want to, just go along with what he did and say it was a good thing. There are things that we do in the Bible say we have to be wise as a serpent and gentle as a dove.
Right.
And some things we bring on ourselves. And in that situation, my only concern was, or my thoughts were, that this brother actually went out and said some things to those youth that he probably shouldn't have.
Right.
And he put himself, his baby, and that even the lady in danger. And I wanted him to understand that was nothing personal. My comment was not personal toward him, But I just don't want to be a part of people who are saying to him, "You did a great thing. You did a good thing."
Right.
Ordinarily, that would have been a good thing to do, but we have to think about it. Was she actually in danger before he put her in danger?
Right.
Did he endanger himself and his children by doing so?
Mm-hmm.
Sometimes we have to think before we just act. And that's the problem with our society. And your question is, can we actually be safe in this community? We can be safe, but we have to be wise as a serpent and gentle as a dove.
Right.
And some things we just can't take on ourselves. It has to be done from the village perspective or a group perspective. Some things I wouldn't dare attempt to handle on my own because I don't have that much power, nor do I have that much support when it comes to dealing with gangs and some of the other major issues in our communities. We just simply have to learn first how to deal with situations. We have to be trained on how to handle some situations in our communities.
Right.
Because we have not been trained around doing some of those things or understand even the culture that we live in.
Mm-hmm.
So we can do more harm than good if we're not very careful. And with all due respect, what happened in that situation, Doc, I just believe the brother did more harm than good.
Well, Mr. Red Wing, and I'm so happy that you called in, and please continue to call in. That's what makes America great, because we all may have a different approach to how we want to solve problems. And I feel like a lot of the things you're saying are very valid, and that's probably the way I would have handled it, because I know I can't take that many punches at all. I can't even just for everybody, I cannot take one punch. So so everybody has to handle situations in a different way. So I really appreciate your being brave enough to come out and have a different point of view and actually speak it so other people can think for themselves just as you have. So thank you, and continue to listen, okay?
And thank you so much. God
thank you. All right, and that brings us actually right into our 4-point star for today, because it sounds like, just like in the song, and we're hearing people say, we want the violence to stop.
Right.
And that is our 4-point star for today. Stop. Let's spell it together. STOP. Stop. Very good. So S, start caring and being involved in your community. T, take the initiative to use your personal strengths for good and to resolve problems. O, observe the positive things in life and in every situation. And P, place yourself with positive people who are doing productive things and in productive places. So if we want the violence to stop, we need to remember S, start caring. T, take initiative. O, observe the positive. P, be around positive people and places. And that's our 4-point star for today. So, wow, we're almost out of time, and you two have been absolutely fabulous. It feels like we just sat down, right?
Exactly.
I know.
Exactly.
But yeah, we have like 6 minutes left. So tell me, everybody gets 10 seconds to shine. So we'll start with you, Wanda. What do you want to leave us with?
Well, for the listeners, for any women that may be experiencing domestic violence, or you just want to kick the habit, I just want you to know that Links Incorporated is here for you, and I can be reached at 901-353-0927 or via web, www.ladiescan.org. And I also want to include, for men, you may be experiencing various situations as well. Please reach out. There are other organizations that is doing great work, such as myself. It's time to be healed so the violence and the anger can cease in our city as well in our community.
All right. And I am not going to charge you my normal $20 for shameless plugs because I think your organization is nonprofit, right?
It is.
Okay.
Yes, ma'am,
So,
it is.
but what I do want, I want you to consider that an in-kind donation.
Thank you. Thank you. I appreciate that.
Great. You get 10 seconds.
Well, first of all, thank you for having me.
Thank you for being here.
And the key thing I would say that the reason I'm running, number one, Memphis is a great place. We have to give our youth the opportunity to learn how to be productive citizens.
Right.
We got to get more jobs in here, and I know that's an area whereby I'm most qualified.
Okay.
And another thing is that we got to have some surability over how we manage city funds with some serious accountability. As mayor, my shareholders will be the city of Memphis residents. Now, I want that to sink in. The city of Memphis residents.
Right.
To learn more about me, just go to www.saulsberryformayor.com. And I know 10 seconds not that long, but there you go.
And I am going to charge you $20 for that shameless
Good
plug.
deal.
All right. Well, thank you both for being here.
Deal.
And
Thank
as
you for having
always, in parting, I wish everyone out there a life full of love, peace, and happiness.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.
If you cannot be in love, then at least try to be happy.
Yes.
But if you cannot be happy, then when your peace has been disturbed, you need to find a new situation.
Right.
Thank you, and we will see you on the radio next week. Remember to like us on Facebook and go to our brand new website, onthecouchwithdrk.com. Everyone have a great Sunday. Good job.
Thank you.
Give
Thank you
yourself
for
a
having me.
hand.
Thank you.
Yay.
Wonderful.
Wave to the camera. Yay. Bye, everybody. Good job.